YouTube's a goddamn deal, man. It's one and only pal, Pappy, and we are back with another video. These are 10 fun Air Force jobs that you should try to get. You know what I'm saying? Because I did the top 5 easiest jobs, and somebody was like, "Pat, what's some fun jobs in the Air Force?" So, ask and you shall receive. But Pete, just because it's fun, right? That don't mean it's easy to get into. And just because a job is easy to get into, that don't mean it's fun. So I always take that into consideration. And after I give y'all these 10 jobs, I'm gonna tell y'all which jobs out of this list translates into the civilian side. Alright, because that's important too. You don't wanna just get no Rudy Poo ass job. Alright. Number 10, cyber system operations. Number one, you're in an office, you're in the AC, barely moving. Alright, but if you are a person that's a gamer or an introvert or you into tech and uh tech nerd and just all that stuff, you'll love this. The job is low key. Uh the job is low key cake once you're trained. Okay? Number 9, aerospace medical tech. Why is it fun? Because you work with flight crews. You handle medical stuff without being a full RN. That's registered nurse. It's real hands-on and you'll be around officers and pilots all day. Not sure if you like being around officers and pilots, but anyway, let's keep going. The bonus, the people treat you with respect, especially if you're cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, what makes this job potentially get boring, it can get repetitive, right? And it's still medical, which means there are some gross moments. Some gross moments. All right. Number 8, fuels, and that's POIL. That's petroleum oils and lubricants. Why is it fun? Because you get the gas objects. That's it. You know, in some bases the schedule is chill. Plus you get to rock around with that I keep planes flying nonsense pride. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Most people overlook this job, but some folks love it for the routine and the simplicity. Number 7, public affairs and broadcast journalists. Why is it fun? You may ask, because you're literally the Air Force content creator. You film, you edit, you post, and sometimes they get flown out to cover events. So you might get a TDY to let's just say go shoot content for the Air Force military football team. You feel me? That's what public affairs and broadcast journalists do. Alright. Next one, number 6, weather specialist, bro. You're the person that tells pilots if it's safe to fly. Plus you get cool weather tools, maps, and sometimes deploy with flight crews. If you can deploy as a weather specialist, do that. That's how you make your money. Alright. Why is it the fun fact about this job? You're basically like a weather guide. And yes, everyone will ask you if it's going to rain today. That's just how corny people can be when they find out your job. Number 5, load master. Alright, pause. But why is it fun? You fly all the time. You are in charge of what gets loaded, how it's balanced, and part of the crew. You know, like I said earlier, just because a job is fun don't mean it's easy to get into. Load master school is not easy. Load master test school, that is. And if you're not good at math, that's tough because you're gonna be dealing with a whole lot of weights and measurements and this and that. Alright. Number 4, Phoenix Raven. But you have to be security forces. Why is it fun? Because you're part of the elite as security forces. You know, you get paid extra, you travel, and you walk around like a real life bodyguard for an aircraft. Your job is to protect the plane and the people and the cargo that came from the United States to make sure it arrives in one piece and us as a crew arrive back to home in one piece. You feel me? Now listen, you're gonna be in shape, you're gonna be making money and touching down in countries you never seen, never thought you'd see. You know? You only see these countries on TV. Now, again, going back to what I said earlier, even though Raven is fun, this is not easy to get into because it is physically demanding. Physically. And we just talking about pre-Raven and test school. I mean, pre-Raven and Raven school. Once you get past that, you good. All right. Number three, boom operator. And what that means, you are an in-flight refueling. So what that means is you're in a plane with the fuel, and you're fueling a plane in the air that needs fuel, that stops them from stopping and this and that. This typically happens when those flights have a 8-10 hour flight and they can't stop anywhere, so they'll do an in-flight refueling. And yeah, it's it's like a long stick, like a long uh, uh, gas pump that come from one aircraft and onto the top of another aircraft. It's actually cool to see, you know. But why is it fun? You lay down, look through a window, and fuel jets midair, like I just said. It's like video games, but in real life, in the air. Why people love it? Because they get to travel and fly constantly, and you feel important without doing too much. And like I said, the view is crazy. You feel me? Number two, special missions aviator. Why is it fun? Because you fly on helicopters or gunships, operate weapons, and handle gear in the air. It's action packed, push you close to elite missions. Not just watching the action, you're in it. Okay, it may sound fun, but it's not easy. It's hard to get, and it takes hustle. But if you got it, you good. And last but not least, SEER specialist. And SEER stands for survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Why is number one? And why is it fun to some people? Because you get paid to hike, camp, teach people how to survive in the wild, and you push your body. The fun factor, you're basically Bear Grylls in uniform. Working, climbing, invading fake enemies. The bonus, you're respected across the board. SEER is part of the elite. The downside is not easy, like I told you in the beginning, but that's what make it fire. No boring desk work in sight. You feel me? Now, I'm going to tell you which of these jobs transform, translate into civilian side. Alright, start with number 10. The cyber system operations. Yes. You can make six figures and get all these clearances. It's just a great learn term play if you get this job in the Air Force. Aerospace medical tech. Yes. The civilian payoff, you can become an EMT, medical assistant, or go into nursing. The bonus, you fast track to healthcare jobs, even pre-med if you want to. Great if you want to stay in Medicare. Healthcare, I should say. Fuels. Civilian payoff. There are jobs you can get at the airport as being an aircraft refueler, but other than that, it's not the best. But if you know somebody, then you can probably take it as far as fuels can take you. Public affairs and broadcast, absolutely, that transfer beautifully to the civilian side. You can do media, content creation, marketing, PR, or journalism for a company, and these companies be needing all that. It pairs perfectly with social media or YouTube work, and it's great for collectives and communicators. The next one, weather specialist, sorta, kinda. It's not a yeah, it's not 100% yeah, but it's not a 100% no. It's kind of in the middle. The civilian payout to weather specialist, you'll need a degree to continue to work as a legit meteorologist, But some agents hire forecasting support. You feel me? The verdict is decent if you stack education work or work in aviation. You feel me? Number 5, loadmaster. Not really. I don't see what job you can get on the outside as a loadmaster. I really don't, because there's no direct job. You feel me? Unless you go into like working like cargo for the airlines. That's separate entity away from the airport. And even with that, they have a different type of training situation. It's fun in uniform, but it's just not a strong civilian path. The next one, Phoenix Raven. No, there's no direct path. You feel me? I would say the closest thing you could do to Phoenix Raven on the civilian side is be an air marshal, but that's even a stretch. But your law enforcement is background. No, your background is law enforcement. I'm tripping that. So you get to do all the law enforcement jobs, security jobs, police jobs, all that type of stuff. Work at a federal government building. It's just options. Uh, the bonus about this job, you do get the clearance plus. Raven, that title, it hooks good, but it's just not a plug and play job for the civilian outside. Uh, Boom operator, not really. There's no direct path because the commercial aircrafts they don't do in-flight refueling, so it's just not a direct path. But you still in that ecosystem when it comes to like aircrafts and fuel and all that. Last wait, special missions aviator, kind of the civilian payoff. You could try to become a civilian flight crew or work with aviation logistics, but it's not a one-on-one even swap. Cool job to have in the Air Force, but it's not. It don't have a high transferability unless you stack it with other skills. And last but not least, we're gonna go with serious specialist and kind of. You can go into survival training, outdoor leadership, or private contracting, but you're gonna have to hustle. It's not a direct path. It's not a plug and play job. Uh, it's not a normal 9 to 5 transfer, but a beast if you bring yourself right. Okay, so that was 10 fun jobs to get in the Air Force, and you also know if those jobs can transfer into the civilian side. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. More content on the way. Sorry for being I can't talk today, but I got the information out. So like, comment, subscribe if you're new. I'm out, bruh.